What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Campus Cuts. I'm your host, Tanaka Tava, and Campus Cuts is an intergenerational, multicultural podcast talk show that hosts artists, entrepreneurs, politicians, and people from all walks of life to chop it up in the barbershop, the virtual barbershop. Today, I have a special guest, somebody that I go way, way back to sophomore year. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to connect with him, just seeing his journey on social media and all this stuff, man. Engineer, musician, barber, entrepreneur, data analyst, artist, creator, a renaissance man, and a man after purpose. Mr. Elijah Waters, welcome to the show, bro. Welcome.
Wow, thanks, man. That's a nice introduction, man. Appreciate it. Great introduction.
Hey, bro. I mean, I practiced a little bit, but like, it's true. I'm excited, bro.
Me too, man. How you been?
I'm doing all right, bro. I'm hanging in there. Like God has been good. But most importantly, bro, how are you? How have you been?
I've been doing good, man. Just keeping my head down, just working. I just graduated, so it's just that time, just gotta grind. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
yeah, man.
All right.
Trying to keep my spiritual health up too, man. That's one main thing I've been focusing on.
And we're going to dive deeper into that later in the pod. But of course, I gave my dope ass introduction. But of course, I want you to introduce yourself. So, of course, what's your name, where you graduated from, and what you majored. And then after that, from there, what's your occupation, what you're doing now.
All right, cool. Obviously, my name is Elijah Waters. You see it in the corner. I graduated from Prairie View A&M University with a computer science degree and a music minor. Love music, love engineering. I just graduated, so last spring actually. So I went to Tampa, Florida for my first job at Citibank, doing data analytics, and I'm loving it from there. Anything? What was the next points?
Yeah, bro, that's pretty much it, man. So, like, I want you to talk about your journey, bro. I mean, it's been 4 years since we've no 6, no, bro,
6 years. Like
8 years, bro. Because you came over there. Did we graduate together or you dipped? You left NHP. Oh, he froze. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Right. You graduate or did you leave NHP?
I didn't graduate from NHP. I left NHP to go to Duncanville. Okay. I graduated from Duncanville High School. Shout out to my Duncanville people. Shout out to NHP people too.
Yeah, bro. But I mean, like, talk about like how life has been. Like, of course, like, you come from a different school, whatever. Like, talk about that transition. Who was, young high school Elijah back in the day?
Man, I'll start all the way back in the day. Like, I was always a quiet kid. I was always so observant, always learning. One of my main things in life is just learning. I like picking up information, diving deep into psychology and philosophy and everything like that. So I was a quiet kid, just observing everything. Once high school hit, I got a few friends and they started cracking me out my shell. So I started talking a little more and expressing myself through music, band, through basketball, just hanging out with the boys, hanging out with the guys, talking to women. That's how I express myself in certain ways, And just, just becoming more of me, expressing my full character. And I was at Duncanville High School freshman year, did basketball, and also did band. Band was like my main thing. I was doing good in that, but I started slacking in my academics, sort of. My dad's like a drill sergeant. So he used to have me do extra math and extra work at home after like band practice and basketball practice. So, I got a little, I was a young buck. I didn't really have a lot of discipline sometimes. So I kind of skipped that and just like do my own thing. And he took me out of there and, took me to North Hills. And that's where we met.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. It was a good year. It was fun, man. But it's also hard. Like one of the hardest schools, man. Like, especially that year, around that year. And like before that year, I think.
Yeah.
It's a tough year, man. Tough. But that really pushed me a lot to just grow in like, I had to become uncomfortable a lot of times, just hanging with different types of people, learning, just kind of catching on to different types of lingo and cultures. It was a big growing experience for me. And then after that, I went back to Duncanville, graduated from there, took a few engineering classes. Just majored in mechanical engineering. my freshman year, then I had to switch over to computer science because mechanical engineering was too much.
It's too. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And what? Why engineering or like in the engineering field specifically, bro?
Man, ever since I was young, I used to always like tinker with stuff. I had like a lot of bikes. I used to fix the bikes up. I always like fixing things, you know. I was always curious in things. Like I just love to create things and create little slingshots here and there. And like I created a go kart when I was younger, like a little mechanical go kart. So I was always interested in just building stuff, just building whatever. And engineering was like the career that where you build, So that's why I had an interest in mechanical engineering initially, but then once I started doing it, it was just like it started bogging me down, man. I started getting tired, like what is this? And I didn't really like it too much. It was diving too deep into like the little parts of like everything, and I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I feel like computer science was like the way to go since society was moving in that direction. I feel like that I had to set myself up for the best, in the future. And that's where my interest lied after freshman year, and I changed that. And the rest was history, man. Started
Yeah.
working at that.
Yeah, bro. And like, of course, I've always been following you up with LinkedIn or seeing your Instagram posts or your Twitter. Well, when I used to follow everybody, and after that, I went on my detox, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but like the one thing that I really always admired about you, like from the very get go, again, besides your calm demeanor, is bro, like you were, you might not have said it. Oh yeah, you're slacking, but you do work hard. But like the way, not even working hard, but I just like your aura and your way of just holding the type of standard that you hold yourself to. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask, like, when did you really start developing? Like, are you the eldest? Are you the eldest of like siblings, or your only child? Like, where did you get that from? Like you know what? This is my aura. This is who I am, and I'm going to continue moving this way. How did that start?
I feel like it was just my family structure. My dad, he was very strong. He was very hard on all of us. And then part of the reason is because I grew up with all brothers. So it's like it's a lot of masculine energy going around in the house. So, we always stay true to ourselves and stay disciplined to our work. That's like the main, like our mantra, basically, growing up. So once I hit the world, towards senior year and freshman year of college, like that was that was what I did. I was just used to that, just used to working and used to, no matter how I'm feeling, still getting my work done. Because, there's always, you always feel good about the results, once you keep working and keep doing your thing. But yeah, I feel like it stemmed from my family, I would say. A lot.
And then so, you the youngest?
Oh no, I'm the second. I'm the second oldest. So
Okay.
my oldest brother, he's doing music. He's doing good. He's traveling and stuff like that a lot. And then me, I'm the first like corporate guy, like academics, guy. So in terms of that, I am like the oldest in that way.
You're the black sheep, bro.
Yeah, fact.
Dang. And then
Yeah.
what? So of course, So it sounds like your dad was like, but did he serve in the military as well?
Nah, he didn't. He wanted to. He told me he's always tell us like he wanted to be like uh, a sergeant and stuff in the military just because he valued discipline and he was just very like hardcore. So, but nah, he didn't serve in the military at all.
But of course, that same work ethic came throughout whatever. Like anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's genetics, man. Like he's just always been like that. But he has lived a tough life, I would say.
Yeah.
Made him stoic in that way.
Yeah, and of course, with stoicism, I
Mm.
mean, I know you didn't rush in like any fraternity, but like I guess like the HBCU, we know that the Greek culture is very, very, very big, right?
Yeah,
And of course, with Greek culture anyway, but then of course, whether it probates, it's always about the fact being stoic, right? But like so, and of course, you're a philosopher. Like bro, like so of course you see me post on my Instagram, like there's this guy that I follow, George Heaton, and he talks about my mission is to be the mind of a philosopher, creativity of an artist, body of an athlete, and a spirit of a rebel. And when I see that, I think of you and me, and like that's what it is. Like, but for you, of course, being a philosopher and being somebody that like, of course, loves to read and whatever. what were some of the like the philosophical things from Stoicism or somewhere else that you take away that you try to apply in your daily life?
Shoot, man, like just mainly discipline, but it's like, well, masculinity for me. Like I'm very keen on like being masculine in its true essence, like divine masculine.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
knowing that I have a task, and regardless of how I feel, although it's okay to express feelings, but regardless of how I feel in my moods, I stay disciplined and get my work done. Like, and that's part of like just masculinity that I hold, very close to me. But shoot, like that's one main thing I would say, just discipline. That has brought me this far. Discipline and like just love for life.
Mm,
Like, you gotta love life. That's like the essence of discipline. Loving yourself is discipline. Loving life is discipline. You can't go around hating life and expect yourself to be disciplined with yourself to grow spiritually, grow like financially, or anything like that.
right.
So yeah, I would say the basis is love for life.
Mm.
Discipline comes after that.
Discipline and love for life.
Mhm.
And of course, I know what you're referring to, but if people don't know, and of course, this is again a very controversial book, The Way of the Superior Man. You know what I'm saying?
Go get a copy.
Get it, bro. If you a man, because you know what's so funny, the fact is this: masculinity, or the fact that, or anything about, like, of course, um, in I, man, I think you're my first, because I don't know. I had a recent theme, of course, in my podcast as of lately, of like people
Mhm.
talking about, and of course, me embracing what it is to continue what it is to be a man, especially in this world, right? Of course, the world is shifting and changing. Not politics aside, like
Mhm.
the role, what does it mean to be a man? That is something that has definitely questioned. We
Mhm.
always hear high value man, or
Yeah.
oh, okay, this man, or all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And of course, what does it mean also toxic masculinity, or okay, when are we being too much, or what is it like? But of course, there's statistics that show, you're an avid researcher, I'm an avid researcher.
Mhm.
Right now there is a crisis amongst boys, especially mentally, financially, lowest graduation rates and lowest enrollment rate in college and universities, highest dropout rate in college and universities, and as well as high school. And there's a lack of drive, of course, because there's the adage where it says weak, like, hard times create strong men, strong times create good times create weak men.
Weak
And of
man.
course it's the
Yeah.
cycle, right? And of
Yeah.
course, like, we see that the world is on the verge of like possible, global conflict. And I was reading a report about a bunch of, like the new generation of men, or the military calls us the Nintendo game. I mean, of course, I used to be a former gamer, right? Like,
Yeah.
again, like, because we've been computerized and all that stuff, and the idea of what it means to be a man has just kind of been warped. Like, okay, you can do this or you can do that. Like, what does it mean to be a man nowadays? And how did you get start? How did you get that book? I want you to talk about those two things.
Crazy. What it means to be a man. First off, how I got this book, shoot. I was just in the library one day. I'm very like strong on personal development, So I didn't went through like plenty of books, but this one just caught my eye, like, cause what type of man doesn't want to be a superior man?
Right.
So I was in the library and I just picked it up and I started reading. I looked at the just the table of contents, and what caught my eye is a man's way, like just part one. I started reading and like the first chapter was stop hoping for a completion of anything in life, and that just hit me.
Mm,
I'm like, wow, like let me get my stuff together. Let me do what I want to do now.
mm,
After that, I just kept reading and I bought the book, and then there's like dealing with women, polarity, and then dark side, and it just goes really deep, and like it starts at a base level, then it goes very deep, and
very deep.
I just love that. And also, what kind of got me into like rereading and everything like that was the podcast, the roommates.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course.
Hafiz, yeah, Hafiz. Shout out to Hafiz.
Shout out Hafiz, shout out Chris to the show, baby.
Yeah, shout out to the show. But he pointed this book out too, and I'm like, wow, like I love this book. Like, is that like the man's Bible? So I was like, man, like let me reread this and really just take in all the knowledge, like just kind of squeeze the juice out of this book. And yeah, so I mean that's kind of my path of knowing this book and actually becoming to love it. But yeah, man,
Bro, it's convicting.
it is.
That book is convicting.
That book is very convicting, man.
And it's so, of course, like, how long ago did you get the book? About 2, 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Okay, and obviously you bossed up. So, like, what did you feel like, or from the very first time you read it, where did you feel like that you felt like, I don't want to say the word lack, right? Because like lack is coming from a scarcity mindset, and I know you and I are the same wavelength of that. But like, where did you feel like that you had areas to improve in order to, in that this book helped you like be able to smash and create a breakthrough for you?
Really, it was like taking control over my life, and that was one of the main things I got from part one. And that kind of, at the time, I was just going through life. College. College, you just go through life, you take tests, and you do what you do. But in my head, I wasn't thinking like 10 years in the future. I was just thinking day by day, and that book really woke me up to be like, hey, like you gotta like start thinking in the future. You gotta start planning ahead. You gotta start taking control over your life now and do things now, because the present is all we got. The future is literally just a manifestation of what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I felt I needed to improve on, just taking control over my life at that very moment. And this book woke me up to that realization. Like, you know, it's something we all know, but when you read it, when your mind just is sees it again, and like the book just reiterates it, like it finally clicks, and that's what it did for me. Just taking
Right.
control. Yeah,
Especially accountability, because often,
exactly.
and especially now, our age, right? It's so easy to blame, oh, the government, oh, climate change, oh.
Yeah, like victimhood is like popular now. It's weird. Like people will
Yeah.
praise you for being a victim, or it's weird. It's backwards.
Right, right. Again, like people will praise you to be becoming a victim, and I mean, of course, like that does not mean that there's not people who do struggle, and we do struggle at times. Everybody does. That's life, right? But
Yeah,
again, like with anything, it's about life. It's about life, and I don't know. Life is just so funny,
yeah, it
uh,
is.
because what it does is it reveals what you need to do. Like I don't know, like personally for me, I remember back in college, um where there was something that I needed to do,
Yeah,
um and of course, anybody has procrastination, um and of course, you procrastinate, you're like, oh, whatever,
yeah,
and it's not until you people are relying on you, and you drop the ball, and dropping the ball sucks, because it's like when you have people relying on you, and again, especially in this, is talking about like being a man of your purpose. You can't blame, like, just even for in this instance, I was running late. I wanted to go pick up my family from the airport, but I couldn't say, hey, Eli, I um sorry, bro, I can't, I'm running late, whatever. It could be so easy, because of course that's a reality, but in the book it says, do not blame your family for something that you should have done. Right. Because again, whenever we're going and achieving and going after our purpose or a mission, there's going to be so many distractions coming at us anyway. And the fact that, okay, when I let people down, I said, I never want to do that again. Of course, that was at a time when I was having a condition. I need to make sure that everybody around me is good. And it's whatever the people's perceptions or ideas or whatever concepts that they have in me of my head. Right.
mhm.
I can't control that. But I know that for me and what I'm able to control, I will make sure that I'll never put myself in a compromised situation where I have to let people down, where I can't let people down because of my own inability and my own action of not taking responsibility and accountability in my life.
Right. Dang. Yeah, that's deep, man.
No, like it's so funny because we say, "Oh, that's deep," but like it shouldn't be that deep. But again, most people aren't in the mode of thinking in order to get there, because again, it's just like, ah. whatever, it didn't happen.
Yeah, but bro, like accountability is like one of the main things I try to stand on because it can literally like make you or break you. I feel like like because if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with people. Like you can't have people trusting you if you're not real with yourself. You're not like accountable with like every move you make. But man. But also another thing you mentioned you were like pleasing people or like you what was that you said? You're
Yeah,
man,
please.
that's up right there. I feel that though. That's why I kind of push back on that point because you can't always please people, and that really rips you apart, man. Like, shoot, it does. I'm just thinking about that, but man,
Because like, bro, I don't know, because I've read, and I think this is a book that
Mhm.
I will want to recommend to you is Battle Cry. And of course, as men, especially as black men, right? There's so much pressure around us. And we have to Battle Cry by Jason Wilson. There's so much pressure around us. And where do we have these places and safe spaces to be able to be again our authentic selves, who we are? But
Yeah.
two is just like if we say no, people are like, you're supposed to. And again, for me, I'm like, oh, I gotta be there for everybody. And then it's like, bro, I'm me personally, I'm relearning, unlearning
Mhm.
people pleasing because
Yeah,
it did get me far. But
yeah.
as you continue to please people and abandon yourself,
Oh man,
ah,
you break yourself down like that, bro. That's how you kill your soul. Like you can't keep doing that, but that's definitely a journey though, because like, you know, not everyone like everyone has been. I feel like a lot of people these days have been, people pleaser, like so too self-sacrificing at times. Let me use a more positive word, like very self-sacrificing. At the extent of like their own well-being and their own mental health. It's just not good, man. It can kill you, man. It's not good.
it can.
Like,
And so has there been an experience, if you're vulnerable, if you're willing to be vulnerable and honest, has there an experience, you don't have to say whatever, but have you been in that position where you felt like that you gave so much of yourself that you almost lost yourself, and how were you able to recover from
I gotta think, man.
that? Or maybe you didn't have to, and thank God you didn't.
Yeah, thank God. But I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a moment. I think for me, it hasn't been a. I don't think there's like a specific time block where like I just gave my all to something or like a task or like something that wasn't serving me. I think for me, it was like more of like a social thing. Like every now and then, like if like with friends, I might do something for them, and like it was just overbearing. Like for me, like it was like against my morals or like just against who I was as a person, or even like in like relationships, I you know gave myself in a way knowing like it's not for me, just to look like the good guy, you know,
Yeah.
just to look like uh just to please the other person. But at the end of the day, you just end up hurting yourself. You end up hurting the people around you, and just letting everybody down. So it's like the best way to go is being true to yourself and you know not not relying on people's perceptions of you. You don't have to always be the good guy. That's what I learned.
Oh man, that oof. Because the moment that you forget and abandon yourself, and that you don't know yourself, how like I heard it. I saw a line. It's like if you're so nice and you're so good to everybody, that doesn't mean don't be good and kind. But it's like if you change yourself so many times to be able to fit, like if you don't at least have at least some people that don't like you, are you really living a true authentic life?
Yeah, I was thinking about that a few days ago. Like you gotta have some haters. Somebody gotta hate you. But yeah, like that's facts. Yeah, everyone can't like you. Like, and if everyone likes you, then you're not doing something. You're doing something wrong. Like it's tough to say. It sounds kind of negative, but yeah, like if every single person around you, well, every single person like that you ever met just likes you, then you're not either expressing yourself fully because not everyone likes you. It's like not natural. You're either not expressing yourself fully, or you're you're going against yourself to please everyone around you, and it's just not good.
Yeah, man, that's not good. And then so for you, bro, um, of course, expressing like, especially I guess for us again as being men,
Mhm.
expressing ourselves in the full masculine, the divine masculine way.
Yeah.
What you felt like were some of the transitions of you being able to fully express yourself into who you are today?
I would I seen this quote. I think it really kind of hit home for me like a few years ago. It's like it said a good guy or a nice guy isn't always what is it? A good guy isn't always a strong man or something like that. It's like a nice guy isn't always a good man. But shoot, I forgot the saying. But basically, just because you're nice doesn't make you a man. You know, doesn't make you a strong man.
Mm,
You can be a strong man and not always be nice, like and not always please everyone. That's what kind of helped me express myself fully, you know, and be like fully me without, any without feeling guilty, about. And I'm not saying like if I do something bad to someone, obviously I'm gonna feel guilty. I have to take accountability for that. But if I'm just being me and like people don't like it, fuck it. Like who cares? Like
yeah,
it's whatever. And that's what kind of helped me express myself more when it comes to just communicating with people, when it comes to just doing the things I want to do in life, doing my music, posting things I want to post, like just certain content, starting my barbershop, what's it called? My barber page, just posting more. I don't care what people say. Like, I don't care, like the feedback, I just don't care. And with me not caring and not trying to look like the nice guy, it helped me kind of transform into someone who's like just living fully, who, living purely, just pure soul. Is trying. Well, I'm not perfect, obviously, but
right, right.
you know, it helps me get to that state of like full expression. Just not.
Yeah, bro. And I love the fact that thank you for your vulnerability and being able to say that you're not perfect. Because how many times people, because people, oh yeah, I'm not perfect, but like no, like bro, you have and will continuously will do the work into saying that I'm not perfect. And
Exactly.
again, for us, it's very scary to say, oh man, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Again, like it's scary. It's like you're putting yourself naked and like, hey guys, I don't
Yeah.
know the answers. I don't have it all.
Oh,
I'm not perfect.
exactly.
But it's also liberating too, because when you're able to say that, ooh,
It's like it opens the gate to like growth, like it opens the gate to like potentially move forward, move towards perfection, even though it's not. I feel like it can't be perfect. You never be perfect, but
hmm,
it opens the gates for growth. That's what I was saying.
yeah, yeah. And I think one of the things, my favorite, one of my favorite lines in the book that I really enjoyed about was, you know, a man's main purpose is to pursue his mission.
Boy, yeah, that's facts, man. That's I can't tell you how true that is, man. Like, and I lived it too. Like, because it's like if I find myself doing other things that's outside of my purpose, I was like my vibration just drops. Like, and it's like I feel like that's like a natural, like it's like a human thing. Like it's like a natural law for men. Like you have to be on your purpose. Like, you have to do something like that you find meaningful. Because if you're not,
Yeah,
you'll just flow through life feeling like shitty, or
yeah,
you'll envy other people who are actually on that path, and it's
yeah.
just good.
So, what do you feel like your purpose is to be? I mean, of course, we don't have it figured out, but what do you feel like that purpose and calling over your life?
Man, I feel like I have like I feel like I'm like multi-purposed, if that's a word. Like I feel like I
Yeah,
have a lot of purposes, but my main purpose, I would say, is is very internal. It's like a very deep purpose for me. It's like I want to create, I want to create and push out to the world something authentic that's me. Everyone is a soul, you know essentially. So I just want to create and push out my soul to the world. That's like the greatest form of giving, man.
yeah.
And yeah, and whether it's through like certain things like books or like podcasts. I thought about doing a podcast too,
You
uh
should.
or shoot, just posting content, just inspiring people, just putting myself out there so I can shed light on like for just shed light to people, just be uh that guide, you know. I like not I don't want people to look up to me. That's not what it is, but I just want people to see what I do and believe in themselves from seeing what I'm doing.
Yes.
But
Yes, bro.
yeah,
And
that's
again, nah, bro, there's so much power in that. Like, bro, like I want to let you know how you inspire me. Is seeing your progression, whether on LinkedIn and you being able to get the job at the Air Force, and then after that, from there, going there, graduating, and from graduating, moving to Florida, or also like like your tweets, and also like your NFT collection, and you and your girl. When I saw that, I was like, I know this nigga happy.
yeah,
What?
yeah, man.
Bro, and again, but it takes like bossing up and like,
Facts,
bro,
bro. Facts, man. I get the book,
bro,
man.
like when I saw that picture, I'm like, yo, bro,
Yeah, man.
oh, I was like, I cannot wait until that, hoping like you posting that or whatever, it did inspire me. And again, you're showing your true authentic self, because again, of course, whether in high school and middle school, it's like, oh, don't post your girlfriend, or don't have a girl, or or your people call it, I was called a try hard, right? Oh, you're trying too hard, why do you try,
Yeah.
whatever, all
Fuck
that,
that.
that low energy vibrate that low vibrational instincts of saying that people, because people are intimidated by you working, and so you try to lower yourself out of the room. But really, when you raise your own personal vibration, you raise your frequency, you raise your standard of living, of what you want to achieve and how you whatever, and then the right people, right opportunities will start attracting. Because of course, bro, we're magnets, right? We're souls, we're literally atoms, and whatever, God created us in this way. But it's just kind of like, I saw, seeing you and seeing also my other peers, and I'm like, yo, bro, if they can do it, I know I can do it too.
Yes, man. Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Like, and I'm glad, I'm glad you told me that because, like, bro, like, you inspire me. All the little things that you post, man. Like, well, not little, man, big. Like, just owning your own stuff, like ownership. That's what I can take from you. That's how you inspire me. Like, I gotta get like that, man. Just like ownership and that ownership mindset. And that's what I'm trying to be on this year. But I see that in you, and I see that what's the word, man? Like innovative, bro. You're very innovative, and I love that about you. And that
Thank
helps
you, man.
that helps inspire me just day by day, man. For real. So
Bro,
keep that up.
I hate. Thank you. And this is live too, bro. Like I'm tearing up, bro. Like, oh
Yeah,
man, but bro, no, I'm not gonna lie, because like, man, sometimes it's hard.
I feel you, man. But you're really an inspiration already, man. So like a few years later, 2 years, 3 years, bro, you're gonna be big, man. For
Thank
real.
you, bro. Like what? Thank you. Like, and likewise, bro. I believe in that. And okay, so now, of course, you know, all that's despite of that, right? You now transition. You moved and settled down to Florida, bro. Like, what? How was that? How? What's the journey for you transitioning? Especially now, this is now. I want to make it more practical for whatever education for young people like us, because most of my audience is Gen Z, right?
Mhm.
What are some of the practical steps that you took, or type of takeaways that you did while moving from one state all the way to a different state? What are some things that people should, young men should be accountable and take of in order to make sure that they transition smoothly? Some things that they can take care of so they can have a pretty successful in their pictures, like transition to wherever they're going.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I would say before you move to a new state, and get your own apartment and everything, make sure you have all your credit established. That's one.
Mm,
That's like the main thing because a lot of apartments, a lot of housing areas, they look for, you gotta have credit. So that's like the main thing. A lot of people actually don't like establish credit until like after college and stuff like that. But so if you're like one of those people who just hasn't really established credit, do that first. And as far as the whole moving process, shoot, I would just say stack up before you move. Places like Florida is very, very expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like
really?
apartments, like yeah, bro. Like apartments on average are 1,700, 1,800. To 20 something, to 20 like 400. Like this apartment I'm in now is like 1,500. Just because it hasn't gone through that like inflation yet. Really.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it's a little different in Florida. So just make sure you have your finances together. Don't be I wouldn't don't be too eager. See me, I I had a job right after graduation, so it was kind of like a plus. They gave me 10,000 for like moving, so that's a plus. But I would say to anyone else, don't be don't be too prideful to stay like with your parents, because like a lot of people
Mm,
stack up like that. Like that's how you really stack up. And like my work is from home, so I could have stacked up for like I could have still been home to this day, like stacking, like without paying rent and all of that. So, never be too prideful. Obviously, it's cool to have your own spot, but man, we're still young, so like
right.
it's
But
cool.
also, I would challenge you in saying that is, but I think it's different because there's so many things that you did. Like I think there's a new growth because of course, you don't want to stay in your hometown or whatever because it's very easy to get trapped, I feel like.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. You can easily get trapped. You can start hanging out with the same people you used to hang out with in high school, and like, and it could just, if they're bad people, it can bring you down too. So I would say, I'm just saying stack up just so you can have your finances together. But definitely I promote moving out of your house, moving to a different state, moving somewhere outside of your comfort zone, just to, because you will grow. I've grown a lot trying to find different places on your own, going out by yourself. The first few weeks, it's a growing experience. You really learn about yourself just by going out by yourself. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
learning how to socialize, learning how to make friends, create relationships. Um, and really just form your own life in a new place. Aside from like your parents and like your roots. Just building your own thing. I feel like
Right.
you'll really grow from that, and
Yeah.
that's what I've done.
Yeah, man. And so, bro, I think that's another question I want to ask is when it comes to finding friendships or building friendships and relationships, of course. And of course, the book also challenged us. It's like, yo, be around men that will call you out on your bullshit. Right. Like, so what are some of the standards that you feel like before you start, allowing other people, like some of the things that you take into notice whenever you start developing friendships? Like, yo, this person is going to be, I'm going to rock with this person,
Yeah.
especially when you're like in a different city where you want to meet. What's some of the steps that you took in order to say, yeah, you know what, he's solid?
See, I really vibe with authenticity. I like people who are like authentic, uh, who are like living and moving in like their own truth. I can spot like someone who's fake from a mile away. Not just like fake to me, but just like they gotta have the best this, and they gotta look the best for the women, and they gotta do this for the, like, it's like they doing everything for other people, and like just like clout chasers and stuff like that. I kind of see that as fake for me. Like I don't really hang with those type of people, but I like just down to earth type of people who are just grinding, who value family, value friendship, loyalty, uh, very just relationship oriented people who are like on their mission. They don't have to be like the strongest, like driven, but like just natural good people. That I can
Yeah.
trust. That's my main thing. People I can trust and be myself around. If I find myself
Mm,
opening up to those people, then I know like I'm comfortable with them. And they're
yeah.
cool for lifers. So,
Yeah, bro. That's really, really good, bro. And I want to take it back a little bit, and the fact is just like this. Did you ever think that you would be like right now? Of course, we always say to ourselves like we may not be where we want to be, but
mhm.
if you were to go back and tell like, would you feel like that 15-year-old Eli would like be surprised that you're at where you're at today, or it's like, yeah,
I think
I
I'll
already
be
knew.
like, yeah, bet. I'll be like excited, like, oh, cool. But like, yeah, bet. Like it's like because it just like life to me. Obviously, there are like things that happen that out of your control. So you got to ask for God's grace with that. But like, I feel like majority of life is like a mirror from like your internal life. Like I feel like I've been like visualizing myself uh, succeed in a way. Not like I just feel like I'll always be like good. I'll
Mm,
always be like
mm,
some type of successful. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if I would have told my 15-year-old self like I'm gonna be at where I'm at now. Like I wouldn't be surprised because I've always lived in through discipline. I always done everything I had to do. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. But
Mm.
I feel like at the point, I feel like in a few years, at the rate I'm going now, I feel like I might be surprised because this book kind of shifted my life a little bit in a way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I will be like very, you know, satisfied, surprised and excited. I would
Yeah.
say, but
Yeah, bro. And it's funny because it's like it's easy to be
yeah,
comfortable.
it is.
How do you make sure that you, of course, balance, because balance is very important, right? You got to rest, you got to whatever, but how do you make sure that, because I mean, because it's so easy to be comfortable, but it'll be so man, I'm a data analyst, big four, whatever. Like, how do you make sure, like, what do you do to make sure that you keep on going and that you don't rest on your laurels and say, I'm good?
Man, I just try to like day by day. I try to do things that's uncomfortable, man. Like, so I can get used to being uncomfortable. So if an obstacle arises or like a new idea emerges, I can like be comfortable with being uncomfortable while pursuing what I need to pursue to reach my goals. So like for example, I get up. I used to get up at like 4 o'clock, but I kind of like slowed down on that. So now I get up at about 6 every morning just to work out. I make sure I stay fit, make sure I do all of that. I try to put my all in the gym. Keeps me strong, keeps me mentally strong,
Yeah.
and it keeps me uncomfortable. It keeps me comfortable being uncomfortable with the weights and just reps, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
trains my brain, bro. And shoot, and then I go about my day, and I also read randomly. Like I do random. I read a lot. Shoot. The biggest thing is like meditation, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
because that has been like my biggest thing. That has helped me the most when it comes to like not being content and not being like too comfortable and always striving for more. Because I try to visualize when I meditate.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't do it too often. I'll kind of switch from mindfulness meditations to like visualization meditations every now and then. But I always make sure I do like a visualization meditation just to keep my brain 2 steps ahead, or like 3 years ahead.
Right.
So it keeps me from being stagnant at
Yes.
where I'm at now.
So, yeah, okay. So, for instance, I mean, of course, now there's the rise of meditation, right?
Mm.
And of course, most people say, "Oh, most black people didn't meditate." Like, "Oh, you're just now meditating." But of course, if you look back into ancient history and but I don't want to go too deep. Well, I don't want to go too deep in the rabbit hole. But
Yeah,
well, how did your meditation journey start? How did you start meditating and why?
bro. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like people don't probably know this, but I had high school, well, middle school. I had like I wouldn't say anxiety, man, but it was like I was very empathetic. Like I had like I was an I'm an empath. So like if I walk into a room and the energy's just off, like I'll feel it. Like and like my eyes would probably get watery a little bit. Like this back in the day, like I'll just feel a little weird. I still act normal, but it's just like internally, it's like I just feel all this energy just hitting me. So, when I discovered meditation like middle school, but I didn't really practice it. It was something that was like
Right.
taboo, I guess that's the word. Something different.
Yeah.
Uh, so I didn't really practice it, but shoot, things got tough like around like honestly sophomore year at North Hills. Because it was like a new environment. It was like different, and I just
There's a lot of
initially,
anxiety. We came
yeah,
from a school that was very anxious.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I felt that energy. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, why am I feeling like this? Like, and it was like every day. Like I couldn't even get away from that feeling. Like, because then a lot of work. Homework was crazy, and like tests. And then it's like the anxiety just kept building, and it's just like I was like, hold on, let me just quiet my brain. Let me just calm down and just be still. And that's when I finally sort of did like a mindfulness meditation, like a light 3-minute meditation, but that's when I started getting into that and started to like train my brain so I can kind of withstand like energy and strengthen my aura, you know,
Mm-hmm.
feels. But yeah, that's when I first started. But then around like senior years when I remember like a specific meditation I did that really, I wouldn't say like it woke me up, like enlightened, but it kind of did spark something in me. And after that I stopped being like anxious. I stopped worrying too much, you know.
Yeah.
And I just put one step forward, and I just dealt with everything I had. As far as like discipline goes, I just did everything day by day and just worked to become a better me, like, without feeling like the energy of others just hitting me.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it kept me mentally strong, I would say,
Yeah.
even to this day.
And of course, we're not supposed to project our reality or what people should do. However, this is my platform. If you're listening to this, y'all should meditate.
Yeah, nah, facts, man. Meditate, man. That's like the best thing you could ever do, and it's also one of the hardest things you can ever do consistently.
Mhm.
So yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, of course, I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure that I take it according to your time and your schedule. We can chop it up to 47 minutes. But I just want to take these last questions these big questions usually that I always ask towards the podcast, right? So my first question is, what is one thing that you would like to see change in the United States? It can be anything. What would you like to see change?
Hold up, your mic is like echoing. I think it's like your
Okay.
mic.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It's still like doing that same. Thing.
There we go. Hello. Hello.
I don't know. Maybe it's on my end. Maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Me?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Perfect.
There you
Perfect.
Okay. No, you're good. Thank you for that. I was saying, what is one thing that you would like to see change in the United States from your perspective, your eyes?
Jeez, okay, from my eyes, ooh. Like as a collective.
Yeah, no, like that it's an open-ended question. Is however
Huh,
you respond. I want to see your perspective, bro.
man, like I feel like the problem just like I'm the type to like I'm the type to like solve problems from a base level first. So
Right.
saying that, I feel like it's like an individual thing. Like that's a tough question, man. But I feel like it's very like it's a case by case. It's like person to person, man. I feel like people to people, like individually, I feel like people can become more. Shoot, it's hard projecting my ideas on like general questions, general problems, but I would say people just have to like wake up. I feel like I feel like society, not even society, but like the world in itself, like it's moving towards a different like vibration, a different frequency, where it's like if you don't vibe on that level, it's like you're not gonna succeed, or you're not gonna like things aren't gonna work out. So I feel like a lot of people are like, as a collective, a lot of people in America are still like on that lower level, lower vibration, and they haven't really like tapped into peace, kindness, and love, so that as a collective, America can grow.
Yeah.
So I would say just I wish it sounds very like cliche and like flower girl and shit, but just people need to practice love,
Bro.
practice kindness, you know, and
And,
also
mhm.
go ahead. And also practice like self discipline too. We kind of like lost that. That's like my main thing today, just discipline.
Yeah.
But practice love, practice discipline and accountability and virtue overall. Then that's how we'll grow as a society. I feel like.
I'm gonna cut this is gonna be the clip. This is gonna be the clip that I'm gonna post on IG and all that stuff. I'm cutting this
Yeah.
out. This is it. No, because I mean, again, I watched um everything everywhere all at once with that
Mhm.
movie, A24 film. Because I'm a movie nerd. I'm a buff nerd. Like
Yeah.
once I'm going to create films. I'm speaking that to existence. I mean, this is the reason why
Facts, bro.
like, this is a film. But like one of the things was, immigrant family, whatever. Like the answer really is love. Like I
Yeah.
mean, it's love.
Like, that's it. You know, like that's the answer. But the thing is, it's hard to like rationalize that answer so people can actually understand and grow from it. Like, but the answer is love. Like it's just how do we like teach that in a very rational way that so that like the average person who's living, like at a lower vibration can rise to like a higher vibration. Does that like do we have to like lower ourselves to like to bring them up? I don't know. It's like a tough question.
Right. And because again, like the way that the world, like there's only two ways that I mean, again, this is my personal belief, but there's two ways that people operate from. And again, but then again, this is backed up by psychology, whatever. It's from fear and love. Really, we operate
Yeah.
in two planes. We operate either from fear or love. We operate from love. Like when it's love, it's we're operating from a place of love, and we move right. With fear, we're operating in a sense of the scarcity, fear, anxiety, and whatever. Fear of a loss of love or whatever, because we're trying to regulate our nervous systems and all this stuff, right? And
Mhm.
really, genuinely, it is if we're able to allow other people and other people collectively, hopefully, to move in a consciousness of love and creating an environment where people are able to, really be their true self and actually get them to the talents and right. And hopefully we can, but that's called like that. You're literally asking for the whole restructuring of society because again, profits and a lot
Mhm.
of like, people got to make money. Capitalism.
Man, that's crazy, man. It's tough, man. It's like a hard fix. Not gonna lie, like that. But I do think I was just thinking about it. I think one way we can move towards love is I would say through structure.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to this book. Like, I think it's part 3, maybe part 1. I don't know, man. But through structure, like knowing like your essence, knowing like your energetic essence, like your masculine essence or your feminine essence, and like just knowing how to like understanding the two, like just man, it's a deep question, man. Not
I,
really, but
no, but no, let's leave it open minded. But
Mhm.
last one, next question is, um, I guess we're gonna go move all up into that because I have another one. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how much self love do you have?
Hmm. I would say hmm, I gotta actually self-assess myself. Um,
Yeah, but I'd be
I would
hitting.
say I would say 9, like
Mm,
8.5, 9. Like I'm a hard critic on myself. I'm like very like, you know. So I would say 9, 8 point. I would say 9. I would say 9. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then because I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Lewis Howes asked one of my favorite, an entrepreneur that I study that I watch his content, Stephen
Mhm.
Bartlett, and he said, you know what, 8 or 9, because most people who do love themselves are happy, right?
Yeah.
And after that, it's like, but it's that 2 or the 1.5 or 2.5 is just like
Yeah.
it's the most pain. It's the small.
Facts. Facts. That's facts, bro. Like, yeah, like 8.5, 9.
And
Damn.
did you? Was there a point of time that? How long did it take you to get to that place? Did you ever like not question loving yourself, or have you always felt like you always have?
I've questioned that. I would say in my middle school and high school life, I feel like my self love was like a all time low.
Mm,
Probably like a 6, 5. And I wouldn't say like I just didn't love myself, like I was depressed, but it's like I wasn't being my like sometimes I wasn't being my true self in crowds or like with certain people or certain situations. Um, my discipline was okay, but it could have been better at certain times in my life. And that's part of self love for me. So I would say, yeah, it was like around like a 5 or 6 back in them days.
man,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
praise God for that, man. Praise God for the transformation, and obviously, I mean, I see it. I'm letting you know, I see it, bro. Shout out.
thanks, man. Thanks, bro.
Um, and then my last question for you is, what do you want your legacy to be, if you want
Mm, yeah, my legacy. Uh, I feel like my legacy would be like, hmm, I just want to be known as someone who inspires. Like I'm not very like, I'm very confident in everything like that. I have like high standards in myself, but I'm not the type to like want everything, you know? Like I want a good life. But as far as like legacy, I just want people to be inspired from me and like my words or my works. I would say, uh, I just want to be an inspiration, you know, to people. And I want to be like a positive, like a positive energy towards people, like a positive soul to people. I want to be known as someone who was just always, you know, that positive person. And if I wasn't, I was always striving to be a more positive person. Like I just want to be known as like a positive person, you know, someone who inspires people and someone who creates and pushes. I want to push my light out into the world, you know. That's really it. I'm not really asking too much as far as legacy. Like I don't want to be like you know, it's very simple for me, man. Like I just want to be an inspiration to people. That's point blank. Like that's really it.
Man, man. For the end of the podcast here, bro. This is how I usually end the Speak Life. Um, I speak life to my guests, bro, because words are powerful. Bro, you are an inspiration, man.
Thanks,
You
man.
are. And Eli, bro, it's been, of course, I mean, it's been a minute since we've talked like lunch, like whatever, like and like this.
Yeah,
But you've always, whether you're like whether you posted my content or you look you've always have been nothing but a positive force, and especially when I ask questions and all that stuff. And it's kind of funny because Victoria Robinson, she hit me up and she's like, "Man, I'm trying to get like you and Eli," and I'm like, "I don't know." I'm
yeah,
like, "We were just work in progress." But honestly, bro, like your light has definitely shone, bro. And I'm so grateful to know you, to have known you at the time of the past, but also for God in the universe to be able to get us back together here at this moment of time, at this moment, because nothing is by accident. This
yeah,
very conversation is not by accident. And you know this, and I know this. And I'm super grateful for you, for how you have created space in order to have this conversation, for you to share your light, and for you allowing me to be able to hopefully give a platform to this man. And just know that you are an incredible man after God's heart, and just who you are and your creativity does shine, man. I'm moved heavily by you and how you move. I learn a lot from you, and I just want to say thank you for being alive. Thank you for being who you are, and never, ever stop, bro.
man. Wow, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. That's touching for real, bro. Like, 'cause you're an inspiration to me. It's crazy, but I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for having this space, for creating this space. It's your own, you know. It's from the heart. I really appreciate this, man. Definitely, man. Good talks for real, man.
So
Yeah.
then, anyway, if you want people to follow you, where can the people find you at? By the way, also if you're in Tampa, he's a fire barber. He's actually really good.
Yes,
Plug all
sir.
your. Where can people follow you at?
Bet. All right. Follow me on Instagram at Eli23Waters, at Eli23Waters. Shoot. Twitter, Eli E Waters 2398. And I mean that's really it. My barber page is at Ace Cuts underscore cuts with a Z. You know, misspelled on purpose. Uh, yeah, that's really it, man.
All right, man. Anyway, y'all, thanks for checking it out. Campus Cuts, and we are out.